Right then, the Invisible Ink, that was.
That's Invisible Ink, yeah.
Tell me a bit about them then.
Well, Invisible Ink was from about 1997 to about 2001, and I mean, in theory, it's still a band that can happen, but we're all busy doing other things. Yeah. Mark Stewartson wrote that song with it sort of knocked around that summer. We were all workshopping songs together. Initially, Invisible Ink was 6, 7, 8 people, yeah. And it finally whittled itself down to Dave and Mark. Dave Celia, who's on tour of the UK right now. Dave Celia, davidcelia.com, if you want to go check out his stuff. He's on about his 4th album. Yeah. And Mark Stewartson was the other sort of main songwriter, and my friend Scott was the 3rd. And then Scott got very ill and had to cancel a load of gigs, so I wound up stepping in for Scott and more or less became a full fixture of the band, and I was kind of the humorous go-between between these two amazing songwriters, and I always added the 3rd harmony. Yeah. So we had magic harmonies, and we could do any Beatles songs we wanted, or any Kinks songs we wanted. So we kind of bankrolled the band by doing covers at weekends, and in the end there was a nice album called Poor Folks Welcome, which I've been meaning to load up onto YouTube in its entirety at some point. Yeah. And it's a nice listen still, that album. Some of the songs have been redone in recent years by Dave Celia on his most recent album. One of them actually played on the session in Toronto. It's a revisit of the same song, you know. I won't play it tonight probably, but it was a terrific little band, and it was very versatile, but when I moved to England it became untenable as a thing to continue, you know. Yeah. People develop other things to do, you know. Yeah. Things have a natural.
Do you go back home very often?
Well, it's awfully expensive, and my kids are here, and there's a lot of reasons why I need to keep sort of things rolling over here. I mean, in the last few months, it was there's a few people in the family who aren't very well, and it seemed like the kind of thing where it could be easy to go back there, because I'm no longer married, so it's sort of, I mean, I thought, well, if I went back, maybe I wouldn't return, and I want to be near the kids in England, and around all this music that happens here. You know, Worcester's a fantastic place, and I say this all the time, but I go on record because this is radio, and there's actually camera and everything. But you know, Worcester and this whole area of the Midlands. I said to a lad that I know the other day, if I was you, your age, I'd be chuffed being here, because it's like the perfect combination of Camden, Disneyland, and Harry Potter. Because you've got all this fantastic architecture, and then the Disneyland aspect of it is the fact that it's actually a very youthful city, and you know, the Camden aspect of it is that there is a scene here, except that people don't have to be seen addicted. They don't have to be pathologically, you know, on this manic. I mean, there's a lot of terrific artists in London, you know, but I think that there's a lot of pressure because of how much it costs to be there. Every minute you know, I don't know, it's hustle. Worcester's got, I suppose the other side of the coin is it might be a little bit too slack here sometimes, and people don't feel that urgent all the time, but I don't suffer from that, so I really enjoy it here. It's kind of refreshing.
What would you like? Where do you enjoy playing here then?
Well, I've been too ill for the last 4 or 5 weeks. Every Tuesday it rolls around to the Firefly open mic with Tina Maynard and Mikey Mann, and I've just been trying to get over this the latest bout of coughing and hacking, like lots of the county.
It's all musicians. Every time they come up here, they're always coughing and spluttering.
Oh God!
You think it is?
No, I'm generally in pretty good health, me. You know,
Apart from your broken arm.
Well, that's not. You know, I mean, these things happen to you, but or you know, you happen to them or whatever. But you know, generally, I wouldn't say I spent a lot of time being ill, but I like the Firefly as a place to go, and I mean, unfortunately, most of the time I've spent going there the last few months, I've been a little incapacitated to play up to my normal standard. Occasionally I've done some things where Mikey Mann played piano and I didn't play very much at all, I just sang, which was nice because he's a terrific musician and he can, like for instance, in 5 minutes we ran through this old Billy Joel number and got up and just did a couple of those instead of playing accompanying myself, you know. It's just you can do these things at that open night. I think the Bounty open mic nights, like the Tap Jam and the Mars Bar, are also lots and lots of fun. But it'd be nice if I could get out to one of those with an actual band in the future. And, I broke my old band up about a year ago, or at least I didn't break it up, but I just I sort of it became the sort of thing where I had to stop doing it for a bit.
Yeah, if people want to check your music, is there somewhere they can go? Have you got a website or?
Well, actually, there's an album been in progress for most of the last 18 months, and it became a little bit waylaid when I bust my hand. And now I'm settled into a nice new place here, and I'm sort of casing out different studio facilities to do the last few bits on it, so I can get back to that. I'm also working on a record with Mikey Knowles, who does a lot of stuff around. He's a local eccentric character who writes fantastic and sometimes beautiful songs. People don't always realize that about Mike. He does funny, he does slightly jarring, you know, stuff, but he has beautiful songs too. And so I've got some of those I need to
is he a Worcester artist?
Yeah, well, he's from Ledbury, but he's sort of around Worcester. He's been a fixture of the Tap Jam house band for the last year or two. And you'll see him at the Mars Bar, and he's the tall fellow who looks a bit like a bird with eyeliner.
Right.
He's fantastic. He's the most entertaining guy, and you know, there's lots of terrific stuff going on here, really. You know, I mean, and a lot of it's got an awful lot of character, and he's not hell bent on stuffing itself into whole X, Y, Z.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Yeah. Right. Ready for another one?
Sure.
What we're going to do this time?
Well. This is a song by my friend from Translaveras again. This is one of the first songs that he ever handed me on paper, and he'd written it based on the movie The Swimmer, starring Burt Lancaster, and it's about someone who drifts away from everything and gradually sort of loses touch. And if you've ever seen the movie, you'll know what I'm singing about.